What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to do another stimulus check update to give you guys an idea of where we're going with this. Over the past few days, we've been getting a lot of updates, actually a lot of leaks as far as what the update's going to be when the final reveal, which should be on Thursday, actually comes out of what will be in this next stimulus package. So we have some good news, we have some more updates, we have some more leaks, and I want to provide those to you. Now, one thing I just want you to understand is that Joe Biden is supposed to reveal this huge stimulus package on Thursday. So on Thursday, expect multiple updates. If it's a very large package, there's a lot of detail to it, which I do expect because we are getting reports that there are currently many staffers working on this to try to get it finished and finalized. So if that's the case, great. I will bring you multiple updates on Thursday as well. Now, what we know right now is that Republicans have been very quiet. They've been extremely quiet lately, and it's not because of what's going on with President Trump. Yeah, that's important. It's really important. But at the same time, it doesn't really affect stimulus too much. All that really affects stimulus is the possible impeachment trial in the Senate. That would actually delay stimulus. So as of right now, it's important, but the truth of the matter is this. Republicans are not worried about that, because they can control what happens there. So here's what we know. Republicans are currently being quiet because they want to see what Democrats are going to offer from this stimulus package. They know what Democrats have proposed before. Remember that $2.4 trillion Heroes 2.0 Act, or Heroes 2.0? And they also provided that $3.4 trillion Heroes Act that was just so big some Democrats didn't even support that. Well, one person that has been the most vocal for Republicans for stimulus, as far as that $2,000 stimulus check, has actually been Senator Josh Hawley. Now, I bring him up because of this. Democrats are currently not happy with Republicans for the certain Republicans that objected to the Electoral College vote. Josh Hawley was one of those. The problem now is that nobody wants anything to do with him. Both Democrats and Republicans do not want to do anything with Josh Hawley. So that could potentially affect the $2,000 stimulus checks. He was one of the Republicans that was supportive of this. Well, if he's gone and he doesn't support this, which he's not gone, he's still going to be there, but if he doesn't really support this because now he's going to try to side with Republicans because he's under their watchful eye right now, well, if he doesn't support it and Senator Joe Manchin doesn't support it and other Democrats don't support it and many Republicans don't support it, this could ultimately fail. But we do have some good news. This is going to be a very intense stimulus package because there's a lot of things in here that Republicans will be specifically opposed to. The entire stimulus package they might like, but the cost of it and certain pieces of legislation, they will not be supportive of. So, right now, what we know, Josh Hawley was one of those people that was starting to bring some of the Republicans together. Well, if he's under the watchful eye of Mitch McConnell and other Republican leadership, he might not step forward and support the $2,000 stimulus checks anymore. The problem right now is his book deal has been called off. The previous campaign donors that used to donate to him, well, they're calling it quits with him. So this is an interesting story. But it is because of this right now that it's really difficult to gauge where both parties stand on stimulus. We know Democrats want to spend. Republicans are like, no, let's wait and see. So right now, here's what we know. Both parties at this moment are in agreement on they want to see Congress spend and help those that are truly in need, those that have been hit the hardest. It is because of this, and it is believed that once this group of people and these businesses that were hit the hardest, so restaurant owners, some minorities and women who still are not able to get their jobs back, women and minorities were disproportionately let go because a lot of women work in, there's a lot of housekeepers, a lot of people that work in restaurants, daycare, things like that, right? You get it. But the problem right now is they're saying if we provide funding and stimulus to these people, these groups, these businesses, then the entire economy will soon follow. So instead of the trickle down effect, they kind of want the trickle up effect by providing funding just for the hardest hit individuals. We will see how that works. So here's what we know. Here's what we're hearing regarding what will be included into the next stimulus package. Remember, this package is supposed to be introduced and revealed sometime on Thursday. That's what all reports are currently indicating. So let's mark our calendars for Thursday and we will see what happens then. But here's what we know. First off, we will see an additional $1,400 in stimulus checks. We are going to get that. That is not only a priority for many Democrats, that is a promise from Joe Biden. That's a promise from Nancy Pelosi, and that's a promise from Chuck Schumer. That's also a promise from many others. But those are the three leaders, those are the three people that we need to keep an eye on. Right now, what we are hearing is this will be a $2,000 amendment to the $600 stimulus check. So I want to clarify this because I know a lot of people are going to question, what does that mean? I don't know. Well, here's what it means. If you receive the $600 stimulus check, you would receive an additional $1,400 for every $600 you received. So if you have an adult dependent on your tax return and they didn't receive a $600 stimulus check, they might not receive the other $1,400 either. Okay, I just want to clarify that because an amendment is just going to amend the amount, not who gets it. That is key. We want to be very, very watchful of this, because if it's different, if it's a bill other than an amendment, this changes everything. This means adult dependents, people with an ITIN number could possibly receive this. But as of right now, it's being reported that this will be an amendment. They will amend the $600 and change that with $2,000. So we would all see a $1,400 increase, or an additional $1,400 check for every $600 stimulus check that we receive. So if you have questions on that, just ask the questions down in the comment section below, and I'll help try to answer those questions for you. Some Democrats right now are simply opposed to this $2,000 stimulus check amendment, not because they don't support it entirely. It's because they look at this as, is this a priority over vaccinations? Is this a priority over helping the hardest hit individuals? For example, those that are currently out of work, those small businesses that can't open because they don't have the proper funding. They need additional PPP. All right, that's what we're hearing. But all Democrats do support this to eventually happen at some point, but they want this to be more targeted. Bring down the income limits. Not $75,000 for an individual, not $150,000 for a couple filing jointly. Let's bring it down to like $50,000 and $100,000. That's what we're hearing. Again, does this happen? I don't know. We'll know on Thursday. The other thing they're working on, $600 unemployment checks. This is going to be big. This will be big. The things that we're hearing right now, and this is from a Senate Democrat as well. Senate Democrat Ron Wyden. He wants this $600 stimulus check boost. It's not going to be $300. It's going to be $600, a full $600 every single week. What we're hearing is this is going to potentially start on March 14th when the $300 stimulus checks, when that ends. The $600 unemployment boost will start on March 14th, and it will run all the way through October 31st. Yes, October 31st. That is a full 33 weeks of $600 unemployment benefits on top of your state benefits. Now, will this also include PUA and the PEUC, the other additional unemployment programs? It possibly will. We don't know yet. We haven't seen anything on that yet. My guess is yes, it will. It will last the full 33 weeks. And if you go all the way until October 31st, why wouldn't you just go the additional 8 weeks and push it into 2022? That just doesn't make sense to me. So right now, I get the reason why. I kind of see why you want to go all the way past the summer. But if you're going to go clear into the middle of the fall, or pretty much the beginning of winter, why wouldn't you just go until the end of the year? It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's currently what we're hearing. Now, some are saying that the $600 might only go until the summer, and then it would transition back to the $300. And we're seeing this because, and I do expect something like this to happen, because right now what we are anticipating is we will see more unemployment during the colder months. It's going to drop off. a little bit as the vaccines kind of drop and restaurants open up, movie theaters open up, gyms open up. All these, travel is going to pick up a little bit as the case numbers come down and the vaccines get distributed. If I can say, anyway, you get the idea. If I can actually pronounce words, but right now that's what we're hearing. So I do expect a cutoff. My guess is the cutoff for the $600. It wouldn't make sense to cut it off sometime in the middle of the summer. It just wouldn't make sense there. Would it make sense to cut it off like in the beginning of summer? Possibly. But it would also make sense to cut it off at the end of summer when the majority of the vaccines actually have gone out and people have been vaccinated. So that's what we're hearing. There's different viewpoints of this. So right now, we just have to wait and see on Thursday. But this is going to be a big bill. This is going to be a major part of this. The legislation here could be huge. This will most likely have many Republicans that do not support this and completely oppose this. So we will see what happens right here. But this could be big. So if you are currently unemployed and the $300 per week is just not cutting it for you, you could be looking at somewhat of a pretty big raise. And again, I'm not saying people are out there just sitting at home with their feet up, drinking Mai Tais, but people are hurting. People are hurting, and the maximum amount that some of these states are paying for unemployment benefits per week, it's shocking, shockingly low, but it's shocking. The other thing that we are pretty much expecting, and not just we're anticipating this, we're expecting this is probably going to happen. We're hearing this is almost a guarantee that they want to raise the federal minimum wage. This has many business owners. As a business owner myself, I understand the benefits of a lower minimum wage. But right in Washington State, we're like 13 something, I believe, 13.25 or anyway, something like that. But the federal minimum wage is $7.25. They're saying they want to raise the federal minimum wage to like $15 per hour. Well, here's the problem with that. As a business owner, if I was to pay $7 and let's say 50 cents, just for the sake of math, I don't want to make myself look stupid, on a video as more than I already do. But if it's $7.50 an hour normally, and then the federal minimum wage gets kicked up to $15 an hour. Now, they're not going to do it. Okay, we pass the bill at $15 an hour, boom, day one. That's usually not how it works. It usually gets incrementally increased. But if it's $7.50 now, and let's say it goes to $15 by the end of 2021, that means even though I don't have any more employees, I may not be bringing in any more money as a business owner, my business is, let's say, struggling, I still have to pay double the amount to keep on my current employees. That's where it becomes very difficult. So I get the appeal of $15 per hour as a worker. That is incredible. That would increase my standard of living. That would help me spend more money throughout the economy. And I think everything would eventually get boosted. But as a business owner, you have to realize that, okay, if the minimum wage is going to increase, then I have to increase my prices of my services, my products, and things like that. So it just has to be planned out, but this could work. It seriously could work. They also want to cancel $10,000 in student debt. Some progressives, progressive Democrats, they want to cancel $50,000 in student debt per student. Not per household, per student. But even Joe Biden has stated he believes $10,000 is more realistic. This is also something that Chuck Schumer really wants. Elizabeth Warren really wants this. Others want this as well. But right now, what is currently being discussed is if we can wipe away the debt from those that are hardest hit, the lower income families, some of minorities, if we can wipe away their $10,000 in student debt, then they have $10,000 that they can now go and spend throughout the economy. They can now take that $10,000, buy a home, pay for a car, pay off credit card debt, save money, invest, retire eventually. This is what we're hearing. There's a purpose behind this. Not just we choose you. Let's just wipe away $10,000 in debt and go buy yourself some new shoes. Go new wardrobe on us. Yeah, go get it. That's not the point of this. The point is to help them on the next step. But if everyone doesn't know what the next step is, they could just go and buy themselves a new wardrobe, new watch, new sunglasses, and new car. We don't know. Now, the issue here with the student loan debt, is that the Democrats are currently divided. Some want to wipe away $50,000. Some would love to cancel just $10,000. Some think this is unnecessary. We should spend our money elsewhere, the hardest hit areas. So Democrats must be careful here, because this is ultimately what led and hurt the Republican Party just a month ago. Is they were so divided. This is part of the reason why many experts believe Republicans, and specifically President Trump, did not win the election. Not because there was fraud and they kept counting these random ballots that just showed up all of a sudden. It was because many Republicans didn't vote for Joe Biden. They didn't vote for him. They voted against President Trump simply because he was a Republican. That's what we're hearing. They're also looking at adding state and local government funding. This will probably be around $400 billion, possibly a little bit more. What we know is Nancy Pelosi has been pushing for state and local government funding. Every single time she talks about our heroes, our police officers, our fighters, our nurses. She talks about our teachers. She says this over and over again. And I have a feeling we are going to see a lot of money in this bill for state and local government funding. Now, is it needed? Yes. Do we need $1 trillion? Probably not. But will Nancy Pelosi ask for it? It's quite possible. But right now, all indications are this is going to be over $400 billion. We will also see, based on current reports, Democrats want to provide stronger worker safety rules. Republicans, on the other hand, they want to provide more protection for businesses, schools, and hospitals. Democrats are just pushing for worker protections. Right now, you may have heard the story, but there was a story about, I'd say a couple months ago, where one of the Tyson food processing plants, I believe it was in like Wisconsin or Michigan, somewhere, the plant had all these workers that would come to work, and the bosses, management, decided we are going to give every single person who continues to work through COVID, even if you contract the virus, even if you get the virus, you test positive, you are throwing up, which there were reports that workers were throwing up on the food line because they could not go home. They had to show up to work. They actually had to show up, and it had to be a manager that could send them home. But if they did not show up and they missed a day, over I think like a 90-day period, if they missed one single day, they did not get their $500 bonus that they were promised. Now, this Tyson food processing plant, they took a lot of slack for this. They made it into the media, and this thing ultimately blew up. So this is currently what is being talked about, is we have to have stronger worker safety rules. It's a must, because right now it seems like the businesses are more worried about themselves and their profits than they are worried about the employees and their safety. Now, there is going to be more that comes out regarding this stimulus package over the next few days. I anticipate there will be a lot. So I will make sure that I fill you in on what we know as we know it. But one thing that I do want you to be aware of and 100% clear on right now is both parties, they would like to provide targeted stimulus. Very targeted. This is what we're hearing. This would include targeted stimulus for the states. And I say this and you're probably thinking, well, how do you target stimulus for the states? It's simple. Oh, California, you missed out on X amount of dollars, and that's directly proportionate to 20% of the $400 billion we're going to provide for state and local government funding. Okay, you get 20% of that $400 billion. That's what we're hearing. And again, we could see a lot of money go to California and New York, and all the other states, especially in the middle of the country, receive a small amount. So this is what we're hearing, is targeted stimulus to states and certain local governments that were hit the hardest. Again, California was hit extremely hard. New York was hit extremely hard as well. So we can see a lot of money goes to those two states. It just so happens Nancy Pelosi, she lives in California, she's like the 12th district of California. Chuck Schumer, who lives in Brooklyn, who's a senator for New York. Just so happens our two leaders are from those two states. So we will see what happens there. We also know there will be targeted relief to the unemployed. More money, longer benefits. Target the ones that were hit the hardest. If you're currently unemployed, you're probably hit pretty hard. Target relief for stimulus checks. Again, provide for those without a check or with a lower income. Now, how do you do that before the new income taxes are filed? It's very difficult because currently everyone's still going off 2019. Well, we're in 2021. So how do you go off something that is over a year old and 2019 wasn't even during the pandemic? So that's becoming an issue. Do we wait until the 2021 or 2020 federal income taxes are filed? But if we do that, people will sometimes have to wait maybe until like June to get a stimulus check. And we can't wait that long. So we'll see what they come up with there. And even they're talking about targeted relief to small businesses, providing funding to those businesses that can't open or have been forced to close time and time again, just to give back to the small businesses to keep them afloat. Again, the goal right now is not to provide a stimulus check and additional stimulus to get the American people and these businesses back to where they once were. That's not the goal. Is to, okay, you are like $50,000 in the hole. All right, we're gonna give you $50,000. That's not what's gonna happen. I can tell you right now, I can guarantee that will not happen. The goal right now is just to provide a bridge. That's it. Provide a bridge from right here, from right now, to the end of this pandemic. Currently, Democrats are estimating that we will be in this pandemic for a little bit longer. We will most likely be in this pandemic probably until the end of 2021. That is the reason why they want to get the vaccines distributed as quickly as possible so that we aren't in this pandemic past 2021. Their goal right now is the fall of 2021 is when they want to cut everything off. That's their goal. But again, in order to reach their goal, we have to get the vaccines distributed. We have to get the American people, comfortable with the vaccine, which there needs to be funding for education. Where do you go and get it? What are the side effects? Things like that, because we're not hearing those. And some people are like, I don't want to take that because I saw something on Facebook. Well, Facebook technically isn't always 100% correct. Now, either is mainstream media, but if we can put out actual documentation, studies, cases, things like that, people would be more receptive to taking this vaccine. So that's what needs to happen. Right now, this is what we know regarding the next stimulus package that hopefully we'll see on Thursday, according to all reports. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.